Effects of the Reformation. The Reformation brought lasting change to Europe. Through the influence of Europeans, it also affected other parts of the world. Religious wars and persecution. The religious divisions of the Reformation led to a series of wars and persecutions during the 16th and 17th centuries. Catholics and Protestants alike persecuted members of other sects. Many people died for their beliefs. Others, like the French Protestants who moved to Switzerland, fled to different countries. Civil wars erupted in many countries. In France, wars between Catholics and Protestants left over 1 million dead between 1562 and 1598. Several massacres added to the horror of these wars. The wars in France were not just about religion. They were also about the power of the Catholic monarchy. Similarly, the last major war of the Reformation was both political and religious. Called the 30 Years' War, 1618 to 1648, it was fought mainly in Germany. The war pitted Catholics against Protestants and Protestants against each other. But it was also a struggle for power that involved most of the nations of Europe. Nations fought for their own interests as well as for religious reasons. Catholic France, for example, sided with Protestants to combat the power of the Holy Roman Empire. The 30 Years' War ended with the signing of the Peace of Westphalia in 1648. This treaty called for peace between Protestants and Catholics. By deciding the control of territory, it set boundaries between Catholic and Protestant lands. Most of Northern Europe, including much of Germany, was Protestant. Spain, Portugal, Italy, and France remained Catholic. So did Bohemia, Austria, and Hungary. This religious division survived in modern times. The rise of nationalism and democratic practices. The spread of Protestantism went hand in hand with growing nationalism. More and more, people identified with their nation. Throughout Europe, official state religions strengthened national unity. Along with nationalism, monarchy was also growing stronger. Protestant rulers claimed authority over religious as well as secular matters. Even Catholic rulers became increasingly independent of the Pope. These changes led to a period that is often called the Age of Kings and Queens. Monarchs revived the old idea of the divine right of kings. According to this idea, rulers received their authority directly from God. This way of thinking reached its height in France, where kings established an absolute monarchy. Yet the Reformation also planted the seeds of democratic ideas and practices. Beginning with Martin Luther, Protestants emphasized being true to the Bible and to their own conscience. This belief made people more willing to resist authority. Some persecuted groups sought freedom to worship in their own ways. For example, Puritans fled from England to America in search of religious liberty. Congregationalists insisted on the right of local church groups or congregations to control their own affairs. In addition, the leaders of Protestant churches were elected instead of being appointed by a central authority like the Pope. Such beliefs about religious freedom and church government helped prepare the way for democracy. The spread of Christianity. By the time of the Reformation, Europeans had embarked upon a great age of exploration. As they voyaged around the world, both Catholics and Protestants worked to spread their faith. By the 1700s, there were missionary societies in several European countries. Jesuit missionaries were particularly active in spreading Catholicism. Jesuits traveled to India, China, Japan, and Southeast Asia. Protestant missionaries worked in Ceylon, India, and Indonesia. The religious divisions in Europe were repeated in areas controlled by countries around the world. This was especially true in the Americas. Most of the people in the English colonies of North America were Protestant. Missionaries and settlers from France brought Catholicism to parts of Canada and the Mississippi Valley. The Spanish and Portuguese brought Catholicism to the American Southwest, Mexico, and South America. As in Europe, these patterns of religious faith are still evident today. We have 4 vocabulary words that I want to make sure that all of you know. First one is massacre, the killing of many helpless or resisting people. Second one is nationalism, identification with and devotion to the interest of one's nation. The third one is absolute monarchy, a monarchy in which the ruler's power is unlimited. And the last one is Puritan, a Protestant who wanted to purify the Anglican Church of Catholic elements.